more on what's happening with the lawsuit, let's bring in Executive VP of the Commonwealth Foundation and fellow at Independent Women's Forum, Jennifer Stefano. Jen, thank you so much for joining us in studio. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me, Allison.
So cryptocurrency, a lot of people still don't really know exactly what it is, and now we have this big story with FTX. And for viewers who don't quite understand what happened, can you give us the breakdown of exactly what happened here?
Yeah, so first, what FTX is one of the largest and leading cryptocurrency exchanges in the world. And so what that means is that they offer a variety of products from derivatives, options, leveraging tokens, and they allow access to spot markets where you can get financial instruments right away. It's a highly, what I would call, complex financial instrument, and not to be entered into lightly. So what's happened is that I agree with United States Senator Pat Toomey, Senator from Pennsylvania, who said this isn't a problem of cryptocurrency, it's a problem of how the assets were managed, which is true of any business that would go bankrupt, like a Blockbusters, right?
Yeah,
not well-managed assets.
And a lot of people are saying this is compared to the Bernie Madoff, even Enron. Something different, though, is this company had A-list celebrities who pretty much endorse them. There's Tom Brady, Gisele Bündchen. Are they at risk? I mean, because you see these all the time, celebrity endorsements, right? They talk about a product, they do commercials that helps the company sell their product.
Right. Well, it's not uncommon, certainly in the United States, for class action lawsuits to be filed against companies. This happens all the time in America. There's usually a settlement. The insurance companies prefer that this just gets paid out and handled before it goes to trial. So I think you're going to see some money coming if the bankruptcy court allows it. Now, remember, this is not an FTX is not an American company. It's based out of the Bahamas. It was formed in Antigua. So this is not all totally in the United States control. So I think when it goes through the court system, there's really, regardless of what the ruling is, whether or not people will actually get money.
Yeah, that was my question. There is a ton of money, and a lot of people obviously are out of this money. If they file bankruptcy, that means people aren't going to get their money back.
Possibly. It depends how the bankruptcy is restructured. And many bankruptcies that are filed, there is an effort by bankruptcy trustees to ensure that debtors get paid back, and there would be a ranking order of that. But again, I will argue that FTX is like any other publicly traded company or any other stock or option. It's that the buyer has to know what they're getting into, and there's always a modicum of risk. There's always a modicum of risk in investment, and there's highly complex technical language around cryptocurrencies, but of course, that's true around stocks. Right?
Should the government get involved in this?
No, I think the problem becomes that we somehow think that a big lumbering government bureaucracy is going to know better than the markets or somehow save people, but it doesn't save them in the stock market, right? The Federal Reserve is supposed to control the economy, all that central planning. We still have recessions. We still have panics. It all was signed into law by Woodrow Wilson in the early 1900s, the Federal Reserve, and it was supposed to stop panics. Well, we've had plenty of them through the 20th and now 21st century. What's interesting, Allison, is that the market is actually already putting through regulations. First, places like MIT and Wharton at the University of Pennsylvania are offering online certificates and courses. There's a lot of organizations dedicated to giving transparency. If you're an investor, some of them you can pay for, some of them are free. It's like the difference between going on Morningstar and paying for data around stocks or going free on Investopedia. There's a lot of regulatory information out there and already an effort by the free markets to control this.
I think we were talking during the break, too. I think the biggest piece of advice you gave, if you don't understand something completely, stay away from it.
Yes, the rule I teach my children about stocks and the markets. If you do not understand how something makes money, if it is not very clear to you what the voluntary exchange is between the consumer and the producer, don't buy it. And this is a highly complex financial instrument, cryptocurrency, and it would take a lot of due diligence to really understand what you're doing. And even with that, there is still risk. This is not a risk-free endeavor.
Yeah, and everybody's wondering too if there would be charges brought against the owner of this company, because they say what he did was very shady. People are without money, and obviously a lot of that money went to the Democratic Party for donations as well. So there's a lot going on in this story, so much to unpack. But thank you for explaining it to us, Jennifer Stefano. Always great to have you.
Allison, thank you for having me on. Love being with you.
All right.